Hey everybody, what's going on? Ray here. Gonna do that video today I've been talking about for a little bit. I'm gonna talk about the top 5 things I want to see from Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. And I want to say real quick, if you all have not subscribed to the channel, please do so below, right there. You can click the bell for all notifications when I got new videos about to drop. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about this. So, I'm almost done with my hard playthrough on Final Fantasy VII Remake. First game. I've already did the video, you can check it out, about my final word on the first game and my thoughts on hard mode. Normal mode, I love this game. The regular playthrough, the first playthrough I did, I love this game. I still think it's the best game that's come out this year. With that being said though, there are some things that I want to see them do in addition, not fix. But these things I want to see in addition to what we have in this one. The first one, the glaring one, obviously, we got to get open world in this next game. They have to go open world with it. I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't know what area of the world we will get to before part 2 ends. And I don't even want to speculate on what story point or story element it's going to end on, because things are up in the air now. We don't know what they're going to do story-wise. But it's got to be open world. We got to have some big areas. And I'm not talking about zones. I'm not talking about like this zone around Calm, or this zone around Fort Condor, or this zone around Costa del Sol, or anything like that. Like actually traversing the world if you want to. Hopping a ride, driving on the map, all that kind of stuff. I want to be able to explore the nooks and crannies of the overworld map. I want to be able to find secret hidden dungeons and lairs and extra stuff, and so you all see where I'm going with that. True open world. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, these systems are going to be the creme de la creme of systems. There is nothing stopping them from doing this and doing this right. We should have no more excuses on this. They have had the dev kits for this for a while. Both systems, Square Enix and other major companies, other AAA companies, have had these dev kits for a while. They can be developing for these systems with these systems in mind. Now I know that Kitase went on record as saying they're not developing anything exclusively for next gen yet, which that's not true, because Project Athia is next gen. So that's not 100% true. He may have just meant with the Final Fantasy franchise, Final Fantasy VII chief among that, but we don't know for sure. But anyway, so open world, true open world. Be able to see cities before you get there. I mean, be able to see landmarks and other things before you get there. Can you imagine seeing Fort Condor off in the distance, like Skyrim style? You know, I mean, that would be amazing. Amazing. Skyrim was a PS3 game. Second thing I want to see, just like from the random battles and stuff, just monsters and enemies and stuff drop junk. And you can use that junk for crafting. I want to be able to craft upgrades for weapons, armor, all this other kind of stuff. As of right now, Square Enix hasn't hinted at any DLC, which is fine, which is cool. I don't want them dropping a bunch of DLC for the first game, but it would be cool to be able to have some extra missions and things like that. Hard mode I thought was kind of like an afterthought for them, so you know, you play through the game once, you've played through the game, you know what I mean. I don't think there's a whole lot of replay value to the game, unless you want to go back and get your trophies, which some of those trophies force you to play certain scenarios 3 or 4 times. Don't get me started on the dresses. Don't get me started on getting all the dresses. But crafting, I think, could be super cool. You can craft upgrades for your weapons, your armor, your accessories. Build your characters in any way you want them to be able to fight, or how you want them to work in battle and work in different situations. Just think of all the upgrades you could do for somebody like Barrett, like Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and the other characters you're going to get, like Vincent, you know, upgrading his guns, Yuffie, making new like ninja gear for her. I mean, just like all this stuff you could do. And with the new system, the sky's the limit. Square Enix will only be limited by their imagination and the amount of work they put into this thing. Remember that. they're only going to be limited by their imagination and the amount of work they put into this thing. So we'll see what happens. Leading into the next point, number 3, side quests that matter. We did get a lot of side quests in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first game. I would say about 30 to 40% of those felt like they mattered. I had fun doing most of them. I had fun doing about 90% of those. There was a couple where I was like, oh my god, like finding all the CDs and stuff for the girl. Stuff like that I felt was just there to tack time onto your gameplay, really. To bloat that gameplay hours number, you know. But I want to see side quests that matter to the story, that offer you different branching story paths that matter later on, like, oh, you helped this person, or oh, you didn't help this person. A main storyline thing that a branching path will be triggered by something you did in a side quest, or side quests that help you find like super rare materia or a super rare weapon, or access to an area, a whole area where you can go get other things. Like I'm thinking about, you know, the Forgotten Forest, you know, that's one thing, or the Ancient Forest. The Ancient Forest. There's different areas in Final Fantasy VII that don't really get explored in the game that you could make accessible with that. I think side quests that matter is a big one. Another big one is going to be, kind of leading off of that, secret dungeons. Secret dungeons and areas that lead to like super powerful materia, super powerful weapons, super bosses, super boss fights. We didn't really, I mean, we got the VR mission things in this game, but that wasn't like, that didn't feel like an optional super boss fight to me. It felt like a thing that was there and you can do it if you want to. Or like, you know, there was no consequence to it. If you get killed, you're just out of the VR mission. It just sends you out of the VR mission. There was no real consequence to it. Like if you're in a dungeon and you're in a life or death situation against a super boss, that's an adrenaline-inducing boss fight. And I didn't really get that. I just got kind of frustrated with the VR things. I wasn't into it though. You know what I mean? So I think that would be cool. You could put in some different things like, you know, the option to battle ancient beasts to get them to come aboard as a summon. Like, can you imagine fighting like a Hades in like a secret dungeon, like a super creepy secret dungeon, or fighting Alexander, like the Alexander summon? I mean, there's so many different ways you could go with that. The Titan summon, having to battle Titan in a secret boss fight, and then you get the summon materia for him. That would be cool. That would be cool. And not only that, but, you know, the dungeons, you know, could be different things like forest areas or underground areas or like, you know, peak of a mountain kind of things. I mean, there's no limit to what they could do with Game 2. And I know I'm shooting for the moon on this stuff. I know I'm getting my hopes up, and I'm not really getting my hopes up. I'm just throwing things out there I think would be a really good idea. The fifth big thing I would like to see from the next game, branching choices. Branching choices. I think you'll get to the end of the game and you'll have to make that 7 seconds before the end decision by the time you do finally get to the end of the game. But now that we're out of Midgar and we're out of the walls that confine you within Midgar, because, you know, Midgar was big and expansive, but you do feel trapped in Midgar. You know what I mean? Like, you knew going into this game that the game ended when you get out of Midgar. It ends right there, literally. Like when you're leaving Midgar, game over. The next game starts. I think from a technical gameplay and just the pleasure you get out of gameplay standpoint, it would be really cool to start introducing branching story points, because you've got all the stuff to play with now. Zack is alive in some capacity. You've got all this other stuff happening. You know, the weird thing with the whispers at the end of the game, changing time. Is there more than one Sephiroth? Is there a Sephiroth Prime? Nobody really knows. There are a lot of theories out there, and I think this is a great time to offer branching story paths, because one person's gameplay experience may not be the same as the next person's gameplay experience when you start toying with that element. And I think that would be a great thing to put in there. I think it's going to be a great thing that they could possibly introduce But those are my 5. The open world stuff, the crafting, the side quests, the secret dungeons, and the branching choices. I think those 5 things I would really like to see them apply in Final Fantasy VII Remakes, like the mechanics of how everything works in the game, the technical stuff. Now, I'm not even getting into like story stuff. I've got a 5 I want to do on that. I think that would be 5 really cool things they could throw into the game. Those are the things I would really like to see, because what do all 5 of those things do? It adds to the gameplay experience. It adds to the level of enjoyment you can get out of the game. And it adds how you want to play the game. They really trumpeted that, you know, they wanted people's experience for this game. They wanted people to play it how they want to play it. What better way to add that than with these 5 suggestions here? So I'm done with that. If you all dug that, throw a like on the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get all the notifications when I go live on this stuff. I've got some new Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff I want to do, and I've got a bunch of other kind of like variety stuff I'm going to start doing on here, or that I have to release on here. And I've got a couple of other gameplay things I want to do for different games. So also watch me on twitch.tv/Ray Kaufman, and you can catch me there. Until then, you all keep rocking. Have a great day. Be good to each other. And be safe out there. People getting sick right now. Be safe out there, okay? I'll catch y'all next time. Take it easy.